Hello, my name is Taylor Outlaw, and this is my audience. We have Miss George, we have Auntie Ellen, we have my mother Makita, and we have Zaretta, and behind him we have Jemiah. The film that I'm doing is A Raisin in the Sun, which was written by Lorraine Hansberry and directed by Daniel Patrick. And during the 1950s, many African American families faced the struggles of social status, racial challenges, and identity. Through this film, every character portrays a different perspective of the idea of an American dream to them. The characters that we have are Walter, Ruth, Benita, Miss Lenny, and Travis. Okay, so the social issue that I will be discussing is gender roles, and we will be getting into our first scene of the movie.
Just go carry groceries.
Honey, you should play.
Hey!
What Betty wants to do?
Go carry groceries after school to supermarket.
Well, let him go. It's good for him to be business-minded.
I have to. She won't give me the 50 cents.
Why not?
Because we don't have it.
What do you tell the boy things like that for? Hang on, son.
Thanks, Daddy.
In fact, here's another 50 cents. Get yourself some fruit or something, or take a taxi cab to school. You know what I mean?
Hot dog!
I think you better get time to go to school.
Bye.
Okay, as we just saw the film, Walter is undermining Ruth's authority as her parentingship because she's a woman. She's telling Travis that they don't have the money, and Walter is overgoing her by saying that they do have the money, even though they're not in a situation that they really don't have the money based on their living situation and their social status. Because Walter is a chauffeur, and Ruth is a maid who basically iron and wash clothes, and they're not in a situation to have money. But Walter is willing to do anything for his child to let him know that he can have whatever he wants, and he should have to beg or try to be taken away from the opportunities that he needs. And he's given the opportunity to get him that money even though they don't have the money. Also, during this scene, Walter is also talking basically about the American dream, how he...
Well, Mama got that money. She can always take a few thousand and help you through school.
I never asked anyone around here to do anything for me.
Now, the line between asking and just accepting is big and wide.
Well, what do you want from me? That I quit school?
I
Just
don't want nothing from you but for you to stop acting holy around here. Now, me and Ruth have made some sacrifices for you. It's about time you do something for this family.
Well, don't be dragging me.
You are in it. You go out of here and you work in somebody's kitchen for 2-3 years to put clothes on her back.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, damn it, ain't nobody asking her to get on her knees and say thank you, Ruth, and thank your brother, and thank your mama. Thank you, Travis, for wearing the same pair of shoes for the last 2 semesters.
Well, I do. All right? Thank everybody. And you just forgive me for ever wanting to be anything at all. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. Mama won't hear you.
Who the hell told you you had to be a doctor? You're so interested in messing around with sick people going out of here and be a nurse. Like other women, or get married and shut up.
So you finally got it said, huh? Took you 3 years, but you finally got it said. Walter, you give up and leave me alone. It's Mama's money.
He was my father, too.
Well, so what? He was mine, too, and Travis's grandfather. But the insurance money belongs to Mama. Picking on me isn't gonna make her give it to you to invest in any liquor stores. And I, for one, say God bless Mama for that.
You, for one, always say God bless
Yeah.
Mama for that.
Go to work.
In the scene that we just watched, you have 3 different perspectives. You have Walter, who is still being the dominant one of being the male, who's trying to dictate a woman's life rather beneath his sister's life because she wants to be a doctor. She's exploring and venturing out to overcome the daily routine of just being married and not having a career of actually being a doctor, which during the 1950s, the only career for a woman was either be a maid, a teacher, a nurse, or you just stay at home and be a caretaker for the family. Well, in Benita's perspective, she realized that she doesn't want to settle and she would like to be a doctor to actually advance herself and actually explore the world for what it is and rather being stuck to a standard that is provided to her based on history. And Ruth is also provided a perspective because she is a caretaker and maid who is washing clothes to help provide for the family, and she doesn't have anything else going for herself besides being a wife and a mother and just take care of the house, and basically just being a person who just sits aside and not doing anything if she desires to do anything. She basically is kind of sacrificing herself to fulfill the happiness of her family and doing what she has to do to support her man, in the case of Walter. And Walter just being the dominant one to subject Benita into thinking that her only option is just be married, and she should be happy with just being married by sacrificing any dream or life that she has. So in this scene, I noticed that the American dream for Benita is to become a doctor, to just basically to advance her opportunity to explore the world and to see what it is and branch off into defining a new self for herself. Walter is just stuck on having and investing in the liquor store to have money to provide for his family, to get them out of the situation that they're in or the living standards that they're in. And Ruth's American dream is to just have peace and a good structure and stability home where Walter's not keep talking about what is and what's not, and just basically have a room for her child is on the happiness that she needs. Also, another scene in this movie discussed between with Miss Lena, Ruth, Benita, and with Benita, Ruth, Miss Lena, and Walter when they're all in the same room. When he loses the money, he is disappointed in himself, and he sees that it's a step back, and he realized that in that moment that he is not being the ideal man that he's supposed to be for as the general. And throughout the movie, he identified himself as being higher above people and trying to put people down, put them in their place, rather than realizing that he's a problem because his American dream is not realistic. Even though it's a dream, it's not the dream to actually get them out of the situation. It's just more of a scam wise than actually doing what's best for the family. Also, I noticed some point of view from the female and from the male. The females in the movie, Miss Lena, Ruth, and Benita, even though they have different perspective and different views for how their character is being shown throughout the movie, they all are a caretaker, and they provide stability spiritually, mentally, and physically throughout the movie to help build the bands up, to guide them and support them. And the male point of view, he just wants his independence to be able to take care of his family like he wants to, and he wants the best, and he wants to be able to provide for his family in a way that he won't feel like he's disappointing anyone or giving up, and he don't want to down anyone, like how in the first scene that we watched where Travis asked for money and Ruth is saying that she doesn't have the money. He wants to be able to do that for his family. And as I was watching this film and related to today's time, I noticed that even though times have changed, gender roles are still a mess. It's still a broad topic, because even though women are still pursuing careers instead of marriage, or either they're doing both, it still provides a lack that men feel towards women when they feel like, oh, you got this and that, so you don't need me, or you should be relying on me, or you should have to do this. Well, also times of change are reversing, where the women are going out to work while the male are sitting at home just take care of the child, or just get a regular 9-to-5 job versus getting a good job that will lead them to retirement to help provide for the family as well. And also gender roles, you see that with relationship, you see that with work, you see how still today some men in career fields are getting paid more than others, and it's not fair, but it's the world that we live in. And also throughout this movie, every character portrays a different perspective towards the American dream. And yeah. This concludes the audience. We have Miss George, Auntie Ellen, Jemiah, Zaraylan, and Makita. The end.